Hey guys, welcome to our Disney Market mini-series here at the Short Term Show. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're doing a 10-episode deep dive on not only this market, but all of our markets. So definitely check those out. Like and subscribe to those, the Short Term Show, Short Term Rental Management Show. We got a lot of shows out there for you guys that hopefully you guys are finding helpful. So a couple things that I want to hit before we go into it is if you are looking for current purchase prices or current income numbers, we have those on our website at theshorttermshop.com. So be sure to check that out. Also, if you're looking to just hang out, learn some things from some other short-term rental investors, we've got you. You can join our Facebook group with us and 60,000 of our closest investor friends, where we just hang out and talk about short-term rental investing all day. Same title as my book, Short-Term Rental, Long-Term Wealth. Also, like and subscribe on YouTube to the Short Term Shop channel. Also, like us on Instagram at the Short Term Shop. If you guys have any questions, if you're ready to maybe buy a property in one of our 20 markets and learn how to manage it from us for free, you can hit us at agents@theshorttermshop.com or literally any of the other avenues that I gave you right before that. So let's get to it.
Welcome, showtime, episode 9, Short-Term Show Orlando. This rolls off your tongue, doesn't it? We're going to talk about things that happen often in this market, things that hosts and buyers in general are going to see regular occurrences. So good example would be, let's just start with bugs. I live in Florida and the palmetto bugs are very common. What are you guys doing to compensate for the fact that there might be some bugs? Wade, do you have a guy that comes and sprays, or what do you, again, everything's a system.
Yeah. So once a month, I think it's like $15, $20. We have someone come by and spray for just bugs, and they just go around the perimeter of the house. That's it. We don't have, I think, major issues with like bed bugs, things like that yet. I haven't encountered it. And we'll get to that when we get to it. But just right now, general keep down on pest is just always a perimeter of the house spray once a month.
And lizards. We see a lot of lizards in Florida, but
they're everywhere. I don't even make I don't
little
make
Can we do anything about the lizards?
They're harmless. Oh, they're cute.
Yeah, they are cute. But every now and then you get somebody that might say, or even a buyer, right? If I'm a buyer and I'm coming to Orlando from Ohio and didn't expect that, maybe we're doing our part here to try and set the expectation. There's going to be some lizards, but they are super cute. I had one in the house the other day, and for whatever reason, I was trying to. This story is ridiculous, but I was trying to catch it from the back. I just assumed he was going to back up.
Never the
no, not the tail. But I thought he was going to back into, and no. So he ran forward every single time. He ran forward, and I kept.
Yeah, they'll run up the wall. They'll do whatever.
Backward.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They're faster than you, Luke.
Yeah, they are faster than me. I have had bed bugs in Florida. Bed bugs are never fun. Of course, we do have a couple of podcasts on that subject on the Short Term Shop YouTube channel. Woof, that is a conversation for another day. Not really anything you can do to prevent that. So
you're gonna have wildlife in any market. We have some properties that are on golf courses, so you got whatever comes with golf courses. Sometimes there are larger rodents running around there. There's gators. There's things like that. They're not going to be in your house or none of that kind of thing, but they're just in the area. So, it's part of the environment.
A few months ago, and there was actually an alligator like sitting in the retention pond next to the property, like right there. And I've never seen that before. It was in Windsor at Westside. And my client was actually pretty freaked out about it, but he was glad, that our pools are all enclosed and stuff. So. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But no, we do have that wildlife for sure.
Yeah.
Good thing with larger wildlife like that in the neighborhoods is they will come by, pick it up with a pest control or pest tech. If you report it to the HOA, they'll come by and remove those kinds of animals from the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Host. We just saw an alligator at the retention pond. What do we do? Well, I don't know. We won't charge you extra for the wildlife sighting. What am I supposed to do? But it does happen. How do if a guest complains about a dirty house?
If a guest complains about a dirty house, want my cleaner. Wow, sorry. I try to get my cleaners over there, check it out and see, or I ask for pictures, like, hey, can you send me pictures of this so I can address it with my cleaners? If it is something that's there, then I want it taken care of. My guests are number one. But I want to know if it's actually a real case scenario, or if it is something that may be uncontrollable for our environment. And in that case, that's something I would include in my guidebook or my listing, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like that, like if you're got sand, you're on the beach, sand's coming in. Oh my gosh, there's sand, certain things are just going to happen beyond our control. But otherwise I do want to make sure that my areas are top notch.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a fine line there, because there are obviously discount seekers that are going to come in and say, oh, I found some dirt and I want, they're not going to say I want $50, but they want $50 or whatever the case may be. So this to me goes back to being, again, a good landlord, a good property manager, which is a great time for me to plug my podcast, Short-Term Rental Management. If anybody's interested in the nuts and bolts of what it takes to be a good short-term rental host or just a good property manager, check out my podcast, Short-Term Rental Management, where we get very detailed about subjects like that and basically everything we're talking about today. But have a system. Yeah, it's like Holly said, you just got to have a system in place. And it has gotten easier. There are several calendar apps now, because that's usually, we're talking about two different things now. We're just talking about a guest complaining about.
Are you talking about it wasn't clean? It wasn't ready? Oh,
that'd be the other thing, where if your guest shows up and it's not ready, that's really bad. That's not as normal, not as common as it used to be. Back in the day, we were always kind of worried about when's the next time that's going to happen. And knock on wood, that is not as common as it used to be, thanks to, Resort Clean and Turno and all the management softwares that sync the calendars together. But for me, it's, again, everything's a system. I personally have no problem sending them the $50, if that's really what they're looking for. I also will Instacart. If there's, in other words, if there was a mistake made where the cleaner forgot to do something, or there was a genuine complaint where something got overlooked, like a shoe under a couch. First of all, I'm thinking to myself, like, why did you even move that couch? Like, why? I would never even think to look. I had that the other day. All right. Now I'm talking more than I planned, which is normal. Had the other day, this guest was complaining about XYZ, and then they said, and we found a shoe under the chair, under the armchair. And I'm like, well, I do apologize. We don't always have the opportunity to look underneath the furniture when we're cleaning the house. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want from me? Throw the shoe away,
upside down. Yeah.
Throw it away and move on. Who cares? So anyway, anything to add there, Wade, that you've come in happened to you with the cleaning process?
Yeah. So every once in a while, someone will leave like a stuffed animal here, because Disney people pick up things from the parks. They'll leave like a stuffed animal, and I'll have it found or left behind. People leave pool stuff here, like floats and stuff for the pool. And I just say, all right, throw it away. If you want to use it, you can. You don't have to. I generally don't make a habit of giving people money. I say, okay, what can I do to remedy this if there's actually something wrong? But that's really it. So far, I have not had a complaint or negative review about clean. So far, lucky.
A weird random thing that I've noticed here in our market is tape, Scotch tape. And I've seen it on homes that I'm showing everything, because they celebrating kids' birthdays, whatever. So the banners are hanging up above. You'll just find Scotch tape in random spots, and glitter and stickers, because you're kids. We got kids everywhere. So you got balloons stuck around ceiling fans. You've got, little things that your cleaners pay more attention to here that they wouldn't in other markets, I think. But Scotch tape on the walls seems to be a big thing here.
All the time. Yeah. I just ask my cleaners to take that off. They don't I pay a premium for my clean anyway, so I expect them to take care of those items. Water balloons is a big thing here too. I see water balloon fights, and the balloon paste will just dry on the pavement. I say, all right, well, I just get someone out there to pressure wash it. I've had that happen once on a larger home of ours, and we just get someone out there to pressure wash it, pay $200. We don't know when or where it happened, but once a year, $200 just to make sure the backyard looks okay. That's fine for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And have a system. Well, hold on. Wait, I want to comment on that. You get what you pay for. Mm-hmm. You get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. But have a system because people are going to leave. Their kids are going to leave stuff. My kids leave stuff, they're always leaving stuff behind. And maybe that's my fault, but you got to you got to give back, right? I left a jacket at a vacation rental recently. Yeah. And a coat. And I was able to get it back, and of course I was willing to pay, the shipping and all that sort of stuff. But as a host, these things are going to happen. And you don't need a system. Like if you're brand new, I don't think I'd be too worried about building a system about your left behind items, your lost and found system right now. That's going to evolve. And it's going to have a lot to do with the cleaner, but it is a good idea to go ahead and have that conversation with the cleaner right now for the time that it does happen. Say, hey, how do you want me to handle it if somebody leaves, their kids' stuff behind and then we need to ship it back to them? Again, my opinion is it's better to not ask, but to implement. So, hey, here's what I like to do when somebody leaves something behind. Are you okay with that? Again, the downside when you're brand new is that you don't really know what you like yet. Whether it's the cleaner gets $50 plus shipping to ship the item. But what I will say is you damn well better get a tracking number, because I've had that happen before. Again, you learn from your mistakes as a landlord. I've had that happen where we shipped something back. So it was something, it was so important. They couldn't live without it. And a few days go by and a week goes by and they didn't get it. And then I realized that my cleaner didn't take a picture or have the receipt for the tracking number. And all of a sudden it's like, now I'm in trouble. Now, luckily that thing did end up showing up like 2 weeks later. But that was where my system changed. From now on, if we are going to ship something, get the damn tracking number. Otherwise, because it's not my problem anymore. That's UPS's problem. That's FedEx's problem. So just little tricks you learn as time goes by as a good landlord. And speaking of, how do we handle, guests complaining in general? I said I'm happy to give him the $50. Wade's not, so there's neither one of those are right or wrong. And maybe you start out not doing it, and then later on you say, screw it, I'm just going to smooth it over with these folks and give them what they're looking for. You got to go with your gut. It's all gut instinct. And
I think in our market too, we have people that are here for other reasons that they can get upset at you about, whether it be like maybe the parks had to close or Disney had a certain ride closed that they wanted to get to, or a lot of our homes are in HOAs and they may be having pool resurfacing or something done with the HOA community that they are staying in. And so we have to be prepared to, it's their vacation and they're not getting what they were hoping for. And so it may not just be about us, but we need to know what's going on in the surrounding area that may impact them as well.
Let's elaborate on that in the form of weather. Because it does happen in Florida. I don't want to sit as a guy from the Midwest. I don't want to think of a hurricane as being a common occurrence, which is what we're talking about today. But they do happen. They do happen every year, quite frankly, somewhere in our general area here in Orlando. Good news is you guys are more inland than, say, a beach town. So that's cool. But any of you want to speak on what happens when the hurricane comes to town?
Get insurance. Travel insurance.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Well, travel insurance. Yeah, explain that to me, Wade. So how does that work for a guest?
So for a guest, they have the option when they book through Airbnb or another platform, or they can have it privately through like their credit card company or something like that too. In the event your flight gets canceled, if something happens during their booking where something affects them in some way, they're able to get reimbursed for that, and or for the rest of the trip as well. So I recommend they get travel insurance. If a hurricane comes through, that is not my fault. I should not be penalized as a host for a hurricane coming through. My home is still available to them. And if they are unfortunately able to leave or get out here to the home, I just say, hey, there's travel insurance. I have it as a recommendation on my listing. If you're not able to make it, we can maybe host for a discount down the road or something like that. But I don't try and penalize myself for acts of the weather. Yep,
I agree. I put it in my listing. Hey, no refunds for. All right. Okay. I'm going to get in the weeds. Here's my system. A little bit of it. I put, again, I'm not in Orlando, but I am in Florida. No refunds for weather. And then when it comes right down to it, if it's unless it's mandatory evacuation, right? Mandatory evacuation, full refund, no worries. But when it comes right down to it, over the years, I have gotten more lenient That is my system on paper. We do not offer this, but if they come to me, I have gotten more lenient in the way of just going ahead and giving them what they're looking for. Just let them cancel. And I figure the universe is paying attention, and most likely I got a pretty good chance of getting rebooked anyway. So I've kind of gone that way over the years. Jessica or Holly, anything to add there?
Yeah, I do, usually suggest to my clients that, let's say, you have a guest staying and a hurricane does come through, to maybe have some extra supplies in your owner's closet. Water goes real fast around here in Florida once, we know a storm's coming in. So, in your owner's closet, maybe just keep some extra water, flashlights, batteries, that sort of stuff. So that in the event that a guest is here, they have some supplies right there, accessible to them.
First aid kit, great suggestion, Wade. I'm a big first aid kit guy. I've got them all over the place, and they come in handy, especially I got a little kid, 5 and a 3-year-old. So they actually, they dig it when I get out the doctor kit and take care of their little scrape or whatever. And hopefully nothing bad ever happens there, of course. You guys are just briefly, you're pretty inland, right? Like, do you get nervous when the hurricanes are coming or not really?
No, I've never had a home with storm damage in the state of Florida. Ever. I mean, we see maybe like a loss of shingle or something like that. But because our neighborhoods are so terraformed here for builders, like they brought in millions of pounds of dirt to terraform these communities, to turn them out of flood zones. They purposefully keep the trees at a low cut. We don't really see the issues that a lot of maybe inland places have with flooding. We don't see the issues with high wind with trees, that kind of stuff. It just doesn't really happen here in Central Florida.
I think the only thing that we really have to worry about is the power going out.
All right, let's talk about swimming pools, man. Those guests, they love the swimming pool. And here's one that I just went through, actually. It's gotten, we're recording this in October here in Florida, and it's gotten unseasonably cold. I'm almost going to use the word cold in the last couple of days. It's going to go back up, obviously. And it's just like in the morning time. But I had a guest, they were checking in and they said, "Hey, your pool heater's not on." And we were closed for the evening, so I didn't respond. I didn't even see it, actually. I think I was traveling. And my team was off, right? So I turned the pool heater on, but he was mad. He was mad at me. So have a day in mind. It's a good idea to turn the pool heater on based on the hot or cold. That's for me. I provide it for free, which most people do not do that. Most people will charge, by the day or by the stay for the pool heat. And if you're going to do that, make sure that you're reminding them, when the time comes. In other words, in June, you probably don't need to send them a message that says, "Hey, if you want the pool heated, here's how it works." But as October starts rolling around, make sure you're getting that message out there and let them know. My story was a happy ending because I went back through and they didn't ask for the pool to be heated. And I'm like, we just showed up and decided that it was time to complain about it. And so I was off the hook there, and they were cool with it. But how does it work specifically for you guys in Orlando? I know, Wade, you've got a pool there. So how does it go down?
Yeah. So there's 2 ways you can kind of do it here. One is with a remote control from your phone. And one is your cleaner physically goes by, or someone goes by and turns the pool on and off for you by pressing the button on the side of the machine. So I personally, I control it from my phone. I just set a reminder saying, "Hey Siri," don't actually, "Hey Siri." Okay. So for that, set a reminder on blank date to turn on pool heater, and it takes me 2 seconds to control from my phone. So that's pretty much it for me.
Do you turn it off when guests are not, empty, if it's empty?
Yeah. So I turn my pool heater on like 2 or 3 times in the entire year I've owned my property. No one really asked for it here because it's 85 plus degrees year round, and my pool heat averages 84 to 86 degrees year round. So I don't really have an issue with ever needing my pool heated.
Okay, that's great. That's wonderful.
Yeah. One thing, if it does get below like 45 degrees, I say we can't offer pool heating, because it's kind of like similar thing with an AC unit. If it gets too hot and you're just blowing cold air all day, your AC unit can seize up. Same thing with a pool heater is if it is 40 something degrees and the pool is just constantly not able to keep up with the heat, your pool heater can seize up. So I will say I can't heat the pool if the air temperature is below 45 degrees.
Okay. Yep. All good stuff to know. That my pool is not like that. So every market is going to be a little bit different. What do we need to know about golf? Golf is huge around here, and a lot of times Dad says yes to the trip because he wants to go golf. And how does he get to the golf course? And then golf carts, which is not related to golf at all in this scenario. But do somebody want to rent a golf cart? So let's talk golf in general.
Go ahead, Jess. we're not
so some of our communities are going to be directly on golf courses. Typically, if a guest is looking to play golf, they're going to, book at Champions Gate or book in Reunion. And there are a lot of properties that are right on these courses. So, we have communities designed specifically for that. As far as golf carts are concerned, I know that some of the communities do allow them, but they don't actually rent them out. Correct?
Well, here you don't want to have one on your property, in my opinion, because you'd rather use the garage for theming. I'd much rather turn that garage into a moneymaker instead of a parking lot.
Yeah, I've seen a few recently in Windsor Hills. So I wasn't sure where they were.
That's a good question.
Or maybe can you not park in the driveway on a regular basis?
Well, there's only so many spaces. So if you have like 10 people inside your home, they're in 2 or 3 cars. They're parking in the parking pad. They're parking in front of the house. Sometimes we'll have even more than 3 vehicles in some neighborhoods. But if you're losing a spot, creating traffic, it can make it more difficult for your guest. By taking up, yeah. All
right. Bicycles, you guys doing that at all? I like to have some rental bikes around, but maybe not around in your neck of the woods.
I think we have one neighborhood that does rentals, like the Lime bikes. They'll have like the Lime bikes over in Emerald Island. They have a private nature walk where you can rent some bikes up at the clubhouse. But beyond that, our neighborhoods are just, they're cookie cutter neighborhoods. You're not really going anywhere. And once you get out of that neighborhood, you're on a main road with Walmart and Chuck E. Cheese and all the other random, like you don't want to, it's not really a biking area in my opinion.
Some of our HOAs, like she was saying, at Champions Gate and Reunion, they're destinations themselves. They kind of have everything you need right there. They've got the restaurants, they've got the golf courses, they've got the water slides, everything. So some people, they'll go from their destination HOA community where their huge home is up to one of the parks and back. But a lot of times the kids just want to stay at the house with the HOA with the water slides and parks and stuff. So it's not like you're going, our HOA, our communities are the destination.
Absolutely. All right. What about, let me ask you one more question. Let's talk about traffic, and or parking. Let's say I'm staying at a house in one of these areas. Is there best practice to get to and from the park? Do I drive my own car? How does that work?
Go ahead, Jess. You love traffic. Okay.
I know it's my biggest pet peeve around here. For the most part, people are going to drive. If you're close enough, I guess you do have the option to Uber. Certain communities, specifically Reunion, they do offer shuttle services. Mm-hmm. So it's really going to depend, how far you are from the parks and, what kind of arrangements you made.
And Wade, at your house, when you stay at your house, well, of course you live in the area anyway, but how do I get to and from my car from the park? Is it I get on a tram to the car and then to the house? How does that all work?
No, yeah. So there's very few I think there's literally 2 that offer a shuttle. Jess named one, Reunion, that has a shuttle that just goes to and from the parks and it drops you off at the public access pickup. Yeah, and it's just like you walk right in and there's the big, like they go to any of the parks that you want. It's just like a traditional bus and at the gate to walk right on in and get your tickets. I recommend renting a car for my personal neighborhood. One thing with some of our neighborhoods here is you have to register all drivers coming into the community. So if you have an Uber driver, you need to register the Uber driver to come into the community to come and pick up your guest or not. So that's something to be aware of. It takes 2 seconds to do. Same thing with like if you've got a what was it, Grubhub or food delivery, you need to register food delivery drivers in some situations to come in and out of the gate. So I just tell most people it's easiest usually to rent a vehicle.
Okay, great. Well, I love you guys. We're going to hit episode number 10 and enjoy every second of it. So I thank you for your time as we are partying in Orlando for the short-term show special episodes, and we'll catch you again real soon.